WHNZ AM, its staff, management, or parent company, iHeartMedia Incorporated.
Statements made during this broadcast regarding products or the claims made about specific products have not been evaluated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Products and treatments discussed are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Make your physician aware of all nutritional supplements used and immediately notify your physician if you have any health concern or undiagnosed sign or symptom. Let's Talk Nutrition is a health talk show that features scientists, authors, nutrition specialists, personal trainers, holistic healers, and experts in traditional, natural, and integrative medicine. Listen for a chance to win daily prizes and follow Let's Talk Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition or on Twitter at LTN Radio. It's time for some inspiration. Tune in to get fit and healthy. It's time to talk about nutrition. Nutrition for your body, your mind, your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Great to be with you. Thanks for stopping by today. And we're off to a new week. And glad you could tune in and join in the conversation. And you are listening to Let's Talk Nutrition Radio for the 21st century. Why the 21st century? Because we're connected to the science and technology of the 21st century. And that is really the foundation of the show in terms of how it's produced and ultimately what comes across the airways and gets to you. And we expound on that from time to time so you have a sense of what we're doing around here. Dominique Ostrander will be my guest today. And before we go any further, of course, everybody's paying attention to this unprecedented, catastrophic weather disaster in Texas, Houston area, surrounding areas. This rivals Katrina in many ways, and maybe even worse. I don't know what some of the meteorologists and other experts are saying about that. But boy, it just underscores how just snap of a finger, just like that, millions of people's lives ruined and changed. And looking at some of the footage, you can see the sick and infirmed. They couldn't leave. They were trapped. And then they had to be rescued with boats from the people's neighbors with boats, of all things. I wonder how prepared we were for that. I just wonder. I'm sure there'll be a moment when that's critiqued, but our heart and best wishes to all in that area. I don't know. I'm surprised. Do you know what the death toll is, Stephen? Have you heard the reports on that? I'm surprised it's not, this.
It was 3 yesterday.
Wow.
That they knew of.
They know of, yeah. I'm surprised it's not in scores of people. Thank goodness for
that. The death toll isn't too high yet, but I mean the storm is obviously still going on, and also you've got when everybody starts to come back to the place and people that haven't left yet, so it could still unfortunately rise, and obviously the days to come we'll see. But yeah, it's pretty devastating. It's just going to sit there. Like I think I saw a story or a headline where they've received more rain than that area gets all year. Mm-hmm. Like in a year's span, they've gotten over that amount. So
it is a bizarre system. The meteorologists, they're even these seasoned. You see them on TV reporting. They're even shocked and amazed at the nature of this meteorological phenomenon, the way this the storm has behaved and is behaving. Unprecedented is an understatement. Wow. It just makes you, you saw the footage too. I'm sure each and every one of you see these poor folks, and you see the bewilderment and the shock on their face and losing everything. As I always say, we're in this together. We're in this together. Oh, yeah. Anyway, get in touch with the show. We need you to connect. Connect. We're providing all of the available means of media, means of connection possible, and then some. And we even have a new way to connect, whereby we can stream live people that call into the show, whether those be guests or listeners or viewers. Not very many terrestrial radio shows can do that or are doing it. Here's the way to connect to Let's Talk Nutrition.
877-897-8255. 877-897-8255. You can also get us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition. One word, and it's the one with Doc Garco on there. Don't be confused by anybody else that has a Let's Talk Nutrition page. Don't forget, go to iHeartRadio and like our iHeartRadio app at Let's Talk Nutrition. We post the podcast on there every day. So go ahead and get on there and like that. If you want to see any of the archive stuff, you can go to YouTube and join our YouTube channel.
When my mom was the last year of her life, I was forced to put her in a nursing home because I couldn't take care of her by myself anymore. And she was 92. All right? Now, this is a 92-year-old woman, and I would go visit her 4 times a week or more, whatever. And I'd be sitting in the dining room with her, for example. And we'd be sitting there, and she was a pistol. And she would say the funniest things. We'd be sitting there, and she would look at me. She said, "You know what?" She said, "I'm really tired of being in this place with all these old people." She said, "I'll leave out all the expletives." But I said, "Mom, you're 92. And she didn't perceive herself. And she saw all of this. She said, "I'm tired of being in here with all these old people." Well, Gary alluded to, make sure you have, you're down to the right Let's Talk Nutrition page. I won't mention the site, but they air Let's Talk Nutrition. It's some internet radio site. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And they have a photograph of this elderly man. He looks like my grandfather. Right? And I said,
going to prom too. That's what's funny about it. It's like I don't know that picture.
When I look at him, it looks like an insurance man at some Knights of Columbus meeting or something where they've had a few too many drinks or something. And I said to Gary, they got this old guy image next to the show, Gary. And so we've been trying to get that. Did they take the image down yet?
No.
It's still up there. It's still up there.
I've argued with them for over a month since we found it. And it's like, what?
And I said to Gary, they got this old guy. And he looked at me like, wait a minute. Oh, my goodness. And then we have other sites that are using our brand. Come on now. Y'all have to stop doing that. We'll let the lawyers take care of that or whatever. Oh, my goodness. So here we are at this time of year. This is perilous this time of year. Needless to say, it's perilous. Why? Cold season right now. Flu season's coming up. You got the holidays coming along, right? Travel. Kids are back to school. The confluence of all those factors create an environment of ill health or potential for ill health. And one of the main concerns of people around this time of year, we just came out of summer. The weight loss concern there was too much container, too much content for the container, meaning can't get into the bathing suit, the tuxedo for the wedding, or the wedding dress. Now we're into this time of year, And the holiday season's here. And all these red flags are up for people worried about gaining weight. And I've written an article or two about weight gain during the holiday season. I'll report on that as we get closer to it. So weight loss still is in play. Guess what? It's in play summer, fall, winter, and spring. All year round. Now, that's where we're at. So, in light of that, I was going through the different sources that I use to report on stories, get the news and what's trending. Come across a story, the headline is, "What is the secret to long-term weight loss?" Well, this ought to be interesting. They have found the secret. We'll see. LTN Coast to Coast.
I'm Joy McCarthy, holistic nutritionist, and I expect more from my multivitamin. I've researched many vitamins, and what's truly different about Every Woman's One Daily from New Chapter is that it's fermented with probiotics and whole foods and gentle even on an empty stomach. Every Woman's One Daily helps you feel good every day, giving you immune, energy, and stress support, and nutrients for bone and heart health. You will notice a difference. Every Woman's One Daily recently won the Best Multivitamin Award, and I love that it's non-GMO project verified. Discover the wisdom of nature with New Chapter.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce.
Well, apparently some researchers found the secret to weight loss. Well, let's take a look. And that just, me, right? Once I see something like that, I'm going to say, oh, really? All right. Let's see. The secret to weight loss. Apparently, these researchers say that consistent weight loss in the first few weeks of dieting may help achieve long-term weight loss. Consistently losing weight in the early days of a new diet plan, even small amounts, increases the likelihood, they reported, on achieving long-term weight loss. In other words, starting off on a good foot, right? Okay, that seems to make intuitive sense. The researchers had 183 people in the study, all of whom were in the early stages all of whom were either overweight or obese. And then for a year, they participated in this weight loss program. They had meal replacements, behavioral goals they were given, like increasing physical activity, taught them how to track their calories. And the people in the study, all 183, were asked to keep a record of any food-related behaviors they experienced, like, cravings, binge eating, emotional eating, whatnot, reckless eating because I don't like the way you talk to me, eating, whatever. And the researchers say, without equivocation, they have found the way to predict which diets will lead to weight loss. They found that participants in the study who experienced consistent weight loss in the first 6 to 12 weeks of the weight loss diet program were more likely to maintain their weight loss at 12 and 24 months, compared with those whose weight fluctuated during that period, that beginning period of 6 to 12 weeks. This is kind of intriguing to me. They gave an example. They had a person who lost 4 pounds one week, regained 2 pounds the next week, and lost a pound the following week. That person was less likely to achieve long-term weight loss. Why do you think that would be? Just think about that for a second. You have somebody who has a lot of variability in how much weight they gain some, they lose some. They gain some, they lose some during the first 6 to 12 weeks. What would that indicate?
Inconsistency in a diet plan?
Their behavior. In other words, they're not exhibiting, what they're doing is they're forecasting their inability to lose weight from the outset, something about their own behavioral comportment. They're not to say they're not consistent doesn't really get at it. They're inconsistent in terms of their behavior, and probably in terms of their emotions, in terms of their ability to stick with the program. It's a predictor. What this study tells me is that in those first 6 to 12 weeks, I saw this in students. I could tell within a week or two who was going to perform well in the class and who was not, by the way they behaved and responded to questions in class and what they were, and so on. Right?
Okay, so when I sat in class, I would always want to get my work done and be done with it. I was not a procrastinator when it came to classwork.
Right.
Okay, and my teachers appreciated that.
Right. So it's a good predictor. Professor sees that, turns the work in on time the first few weeks, achieving, raising hand, talking. Those are all good predictors. It's not the first 6 to 12 weeks. It's not the time. It's their behavior during that time that would indicate that they're not going to succeed long term.
Okay.
Right? And if our guest today, you ask her when she comes on, I'll bet you she will tell you when she was working with cardiac patients, people that had heart attacks,
right,
she could probably predict who was going to lose weight and who wasn't based on their behavior very early on. and their attitude. If you go into a weight loss program angry, saying you're taking away my food, right? So it's attitudinal, it's behavioral, it's emotional, and it's relational. Okay? Those kinds of dimensions. Relational meaning their relationship with food and their relationship with others.
Okay, and I see how that plays a big factor, especially when it comes to your attitude towards it too.
Right.
So your relationship has a factor when it comes to attitude.
Right, and if you have not only your relationship to food, Gary, but the relationship to people that you're living with in the house,
right?
People that you hang out. I mean, I don't know if you remember. Stephen will remember. I've reported on studies where people who go to lunch, go to dinner, hang out with people who are overweight and obese.
Yeah.
Tend to adopt their behaviors and become overweight or obese.
Right.
Like your mother taught you, your dad taught you. You be careful who you hang out with and associate with because you start to behave like them and look like them. It's true. So this study is not revelatory. There's no big secret. The secret is not the first 6 to 12 weeks. It's the behavior in the 6 to 12 weeks that is an indicator or predictor. It's not the 6 to 12 weeks. That's not the secret to weight loss. See how and somebody reads that and they say, well, what's the secret? The secret is to start off on a good foot. Well, no kidding.
Well, Teresa came in here and she said it was the same thing. She was going through, she had to change her lifestyle.
Right. But the secret is not, it's not time-oriented. The secret is behavioral, attitudinal, emotional.
The perfect complement to your beauty regimen? Try Form Essentials Zinnia. The finest of its kind, Zinnia offers twice as much biotin as other formulas, which has proven to unlock the vibrancy in even the dullest of hair, skin, and nails. Zinnia breaks through and rejuvenates cells internally, helping you achieve the allure of effortless beauty. Reviving your hair, skin, and nails has never been easier. This essential blend of biotin, alpha-lipoic, and hyaluronic acid, collagen, and vitamin C creates lasting enhancements to your natural good looks. Don't go on wondering. You're worth the results. This combination of ingredients can only be found in Zinnia. Pamper yourself with a proven bit of affordable luxury and start looking your best. Ask for Zinnia by name at your nearest vitamin retailer to begin your journey to restored nails, head-turning hair, and radiant skin today. For more information, visit formessentials.com.
When your alarm goes off, do you jump out of bed with excitement? Or does it take multiple alarms, a few snooze buttons, or a morning caffeine fix to get you going? These habits and daily stress cause a vicious cycle in which sleep becomes increasingly elusive. In fact, 54% of Americans report struggles to fall or stay asleep. For a better night's rest, look no further than Solace, an all-natural dietary supplement that supports healthy sleep and relaxation, so you get the rest you need to wake up clear-eyed, alert, and ready for the day. Solace has given thousands a better night's rest and the power to take back their mornings while enjoying the day ahead of them. Solace is formulated with non-addictive, scientifically proven, all-natural ingredients that support sleep and relaxation, such as melatonin, tryptophan, and 5-HTP. For more information or to order Solace, visit takesolace.com. Solace, for healthy sleep naturally.
American Psychological Association, a little while back, a few years ago, they published what's called Stress in America, an annual report. It's called Stress in America. Gary, if you might be able to find it for 2017. And in this one report, they found they did a survey, Stress in America survey in 2011. 27% of the respondents in that survey reported that they lacked the willpower, and they felt that willpower was the most significant barrier for them to change. Welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. My guest today is Dominique Ostrander, and this points to or relates back to the story I just reported on, that in the first 6 to 12 weeks, if a person is uneven or highly variable in their weight loss, they lose 2, gain 1, lose 3, gain 2. In the first 6 to 12 weeks, that's a predictor, when that's my language, that they will not achieve long-term weight loss. Very likely they won't. I see it as a predictor because it shows their inability, something about their behavioral, emotional, attitudinal state of affairs. It's not a time issue. It's more than that. The secret is not the first 6 to 12 weeks. My point is this. Could it be that now I'll probably get some pushback on this, some people are not candidates for change generally and candidates to lose weight specifically? In other words, you can do whatever you want, put them in any program, have a team, an army of people helping them, and they'll just never be able to do it. Are there some people like that? As I said, my guest, that's a question. I put it out there. You can respond to it. Here's how you do that.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255, 877-897-8255. You can also reach us through Facebook. Message us directly. I answer them, read them to Doc, and
we answer them.
We do.
And we have one that Gary's going to share in a moment. When Dominique comes on, he'll read it to you. We'll keep her anonymity. I don't even want him to mention her first name or where she's from, but it's from a viewer or a listener. And
she's watching the show on Facebook, actually.
All right. So a viewer. Dominique, welcome back to Let's Talk Nutrition. Dominique is an educator for Jarrow Formulas. You heard my comment just now. I would be very interested in your response to what I just said. About
Good morning,
that some people are not candidates. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to say that it would be terrible to believe that there's a person out there that is not able to change, a candidate for change. I think that's such a depressing thought. Okay, now that being said, in the years of dealing with morbidly obese patients, very sick patients, as far as inability to move, cardiac issues, and the list goes on and on. The most change that I saw was having to do with not only motivation, so to go to your point of attitudinal, is the ability to stick with it. Because the question became, we're all going to lose and gain weight depending upon what we're eating, how much fluid our body is holding, et cetera, et cetera. So do you have the ability to stick with it beyond the days that you're showing weight loss on the scale, when your attitude isn't that great, when you don't feel that motivated to go for that walk, when you don't feel motivated to make the right food choices? Because ultimately, that's what I saw. My experience was more than motivation. It was, for lack of a better description, endurance. Do you have endurance to stick with this journey?
I've heard, I just alluded to that American Psychological Association survey where respondents said they believed that it was willpower not having enough willpower that was the main barrier to them changing and for them to lose weight.
But willpower implies avoidance. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please.
Willpower implies, in and of itself, I have to avoid. I have to. It's things being taken away. You know, there's a lot of things. But when you say endurance, then it's the ability to stick to it rather than avoid, rather than things being taken away. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think that there is something going on here that is, it's interesting. We assume that people can lose weight when given proper direction, given the support, given their meals are made for them. Now people are ordering meals. That everything that's been given to them to achieve all these instruments of to help them succeed, and they still can't do it. I mean, that makes you wonder what else is going on here. This is my belief. The reason why there are some people who are not candidates for change generally, weight loss specifically. Let's take weight loss. Candidates for weight loss. Because their relationship with food has been, it started, and as I said this a million times, in utero. And that relationship is an enduring relationship. When you think about what you ate when you were born or while you were inside your mom, once you were born, the first 3 to 6 years of your life, that relationship is being formed. For me, the reason why some people are not candidates for change is because that relationship is so enduring and nobody's addressing the relationship with people. They're talking to them about what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat, and they think that gets at the relationship. That relationship is more complicated, and most weight loss programs don't get to that. A therapist could. You see where I'm headed with this? In other words, that relationship is almost has the kind of genetic power that your genes have. You know, they're like immutable. It seems
right, but so it goes to the same thought that some psychiatrists, psychologists have a cognitive therapy approach where they want to, let's talk about everything from that you as far back as you remember. And then there are therapists that talk about, we can't change what happened, we can't unscramble eggs, but let's give you tools to deal with what is today.
Even when you give them the tools, and even if you have an instructor there, even when you give them every odds to increase success, they still can't do it.
Don't be.
Whether you spend your free time on a treadmill, under a car, or in your garden, if your active lifestyle leaves you sore, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce may be exactly what you need. Inflammaforce has a natural herb blend that acts as an anti-inflammatory to help maintain healthy joint and mobility support. There are standardized herbs like white willow, boswellia, turmeric, ginger, and devil's claw. The vegetarian capsule promotes easy digestion and a fast-acting dissolve process. Inflammaforce includes a proprietary enzyme herbal blend full of antioxidants and flavonoids that target pain and inflammation throughout the body. Body Vigor's Inflammaforce contains ingredients that support normal, healthy joint flexibility and function, builds healthy tissue, and helps with your recovery process. So if you're tired of sore joints and inflamed muscles, Body Vigor's Inflammaforce is your answer. Purchase Inflammaforce exclusively on Amazon.com.
So do you think it's the case that some people are just not candidates for change generally, and weight loss specifically? I know that Dominique Ostrander, I know you didn't come on the show today to talk about that, but I wanted to drop that out there. It may sound like I'm being negative or defeatist.
Totally.
But I have friends of mine who are therapists, and they have patients who have been in therapy for years. When I talk to my friends, my professional therapist friends, they say, you know, why does the person keep coming? And it's hard to answer because it's comforting. And I ask, how much progress have they made? And he said, they'll say to me, very, very little. Very little. They'll say things like, the person just can't change. They can't do it. They try, and they have a little bit of... There are some... That happens. And something about weight loss that seems to capture that dimension or that aspect of human behavior and human beings and the inability to change. I mean, you had to see that in cardiac rehab. No matter what you did for that patient, they couldn't do it. That sounds.
Yes,
I know
so much of it was family related. It was environmental. So much of it was environmental.
Well, Gary has an example of that. Somebody watching us on Facebook, we will keep the anonymity. I don't even want him to say her name or reveal where she's from.
And her comment was when she got married, she weighed 120 pounds, and then she began hanging out with her husband's family, who had horrible eating habits.
Read what she said. Read her words.
Well, then I'd give her what. Yeah. So she was 120 pounds when she met her husband. His family had horrible eating habits, and she's been struggling with that and to get away from that kind of behavior since then. And she's gained weight because of that.
And that's an environmental factor. In other words, she was eating from the same trough as everybody else and now has developed an unhealthy relationship with food. That's correctable, right? Get a divorce. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Right.
Just kidding. I mean, how many out of 10 cardiac rehab patients that you worked with, out of 10, on average, how many were able to lose weight and keep it off?
I would say 50%.
What will you give them? Holy water? I'm shocked.
50%, because at that point, it's desperation. At that point, granted, I don't know, because you only work with them for a certain period of time, so you're not really following them for 2 years, let's say. But initially, that first 6 months, it's definitely 50%.
All right.
After that, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know really long term how many?
Not long term, no. And out of that, I would say the ones that I do know that I've stayed in touch with, or that I had stayed in touch with at that time, I would say it was probably 2 or 3 out of 10 that made the lifestyle changes, that did everything they had to do not to end up a cardiac patient again.
You know, cognitive behavioral therapy has been very successful in changing people's habits and their thinking, attitudes, values, beliefs, and particularly their behavior. I'm a great believer and fan of cognitive CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. There's a lot of data that shows that it works, and therapists use it, and counselors use it all the time. Great success. I don't mean to pull you off the track. I just wanted to float that out there a little bit. Just because somebody wants to do something doesn't mean they can do it. You have to be really prepared. Commitment is involved, expectations, environment. There's so many variables. That's my point. And they just sort of showed up. You've met people. You meet them at one point in time, and 15, 20 years later, they're exactly the same. Mm-hmm. Nothing's changed. Still the same bad habits, still the same way of thinking, still they have not evolved one bit. You've met people like that, right?
Absolutely. So my question that comes to me, or what I think of, is the willingness to change, really desire. There's a famous beat poet back in the '60s, Hugh Prather, and he has one of my favorite quotes, and he said, if desire isn't followed by action, it was never really desire in the first place." And I can't think of anything more simple and yet more profound.
Yeah, it was just wishful thinking. Right?
So I absolutely, and I know that there are people that I really don't believe in the defeatist way.
Neither do I.
Anybody with real desire to make the changes can, and they can sustain it. I don't think there's something.
That's the common belief.
Anomaly.
See, if I would challenge that and play devil's advocate, that's the common belief. All you need is the willpower, the proper motivation, and the commitment, and you're going to make it. You know what? I think it takes more than that. I think it's more problematic, more complicated, and I think many professionals are not equipped to. It's not a failure of the patient or the client. It's a failure on a part of the health professional, because they have failed to understand fully and comprehend how complicated this is. That's I listen to people like Dr. Michael Lyon. He has an institute. Gary will pull it up and give me the exact name. Dr. Michael Lyon. He's on this show. He's with Natural Factors. The government pays. You can be overweight and obese, and you can go into the clinic, and you can become a patient. And they're seeing 200 and 300 people a day.
Medical Weight Management Center.
And they have an army: therapists, nutritionists, dietitians, exercise physiologists, rabbis, priests, the whole kit and caboodle. How do you can't provide that for every single person that's trying to change or lose weight. And they have they have a good success rate, but it's certainly not 80, 90%, 70%, I don't think. That's how hard this is. That's my point. This isn't easy stuff. What did you want to cook today? What were you talking? What did you want to prepare?
I wanted to talk more about a plant-based diet.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, we'll do that. Stick with the plants. If I could only say to people, you want to lose weight and keep it off, eat plants. I don't like plants. Now where do you go? Now what do you do with that person? So.
Don't eat it, make a roast for dinner.
Go to a luau.
To talk about nutrition. Nutrition for your body, your mind, your spirit. It's time to talk about proper exercise, stress relief, eating well, and supplementation to help. Get ready to take charge of your health, because your health is your wealth and the wealth of those who care about and love you. It's time for Let's Talk Nutrition with Dr. Michael Garko. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for tuning in today. Jarrow Formulas. You see the sign behind me if you're watching the show. Darn good supplement company. They got it together. As I always say, there are some supplement companies that are in the playoffs and championship games, and then they're always there. And that's one of the companies that's always in the playoffs or playing for championship, so to speak. You get the metaphor. Dominique Ostrander, educated for Jarrow, is on today. And I'm just going to bring you on right away. You wanted to talk about, and welcome to the show, Dominique. You wanted to talk about a plant-based diet. I'm curious to see what you have to say about it.
Okay, so there was an article that was published. Medical experts outlined the cardiometabolic health benefits of a plant-based diet. Mm-hmm. So cardiometabolic benefits of plant-based diets, which appears as an online advance in nutrients. The review will publish in a future special edition entitled The Science of Vegetarian Nutrition and Health. So the review outlines how a plant-based diet, which is naturally low in calories, saturated fat, and cholesterol, and rich in nutrients like fiber and antioxidants, could be one tool in addition to adopting a healthy lifestyle used to improve nutrition intake and reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, and type 2 diabetes. And one of the leading researchers, I don't know how to say her last name, Dr. Hanna Kaliova, she's an MD, PhD, and she says food is medicine, and we need to get this message across to physicians that it begins on our plates.
Wow. I think I've reported on that study. Did you send that to me?
I did.
You did. Can you resend it? If you have
Sure.
if you have a minute.
Sure.
I agree. Dr. Esselstyn clearly has been demonstrating this since the 1980s, a cardiac surgeon at Cleveland Clinic. When he got so fed up with his inability, he said, I was doing bypass surgery for my patients, but they were still dying. Mm-hmm. Not because of the surgery, but because they couldn't change, and the diet was killing them. You know, and he just got so fed up. He just figured out. I told the story as how he got into this, but he just decided, bang, to change himself, his own way of eating, and then transferred that over to his patients. Whole food, plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy, and especially for cardiac patients, no oil. And he's been saving lives ever since. That's a hard sell.
Very hard. You can sell a bridge easier.
The minute I tell people that, they're polite. I can see exit behavior. They start to exhibit exit behavior with me and can't wait to get away from me fast enough. Mm-hmm. Because they don't want to hear it.
Yes, I know what that's like.
You know what that's like, right?
I know what that's like.
And I'm just saying, the physicians, she makes a good point. I've said for 12 years on this show, nutrition, diet and nutrition, those are different concepts, by the way. Diet and nutrition constitute the first principle of health. And I mean that. It begins and ends there. Now, genetics clearly is operating, but the lion's share of the variance for health, wellness, and well-being is accounted for by diet and lifestyle, with diet and nutrition being the first principle. Because if that's haywire, genetic predispositions, get exposed, the bad ones, habits, bad habits become revealed. I mean, it just, for me, that is the pathway to find your way through the jungle of confusion, failure, bad self-image, lack of motivation. That's the road you have to be on to try to chop your way through that jungle of all these complicated variables. I believe that with my heart and soul and my mind and whatever IQ God gave me. And people keep saying, what's the secret? Like this study today, they had the secret. Please, give me a break. Secret. And unfortunately, a plant-based diet is not in high popularity in our culture. It's not the dominant way of eating here. Mm-hmm. So how do you get a whole society to make that shift? That is, I don't know.
And sustain it. I'm out there all the time in the field, obviously, and there are so many young vegans. And I was having a conversation with two other reps that work for Jarrow, and we were talking about the sustainability of a 20-something to stay a vegan, whether it was due to the popularity of What the Health from the show that was the documentary that was on Netflix, for whatever reason, and I hate the term millennials, but we'll go ahead and use that term, turning to veganism, and whether or not that will translate into, when they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s, whether or not they will have a lower risk of heart disease and all the kinds of cardiometabolic issues that are associated with high animal intake diets. So it'll be interesting to see where this leads. But my question is it sustainable? And going back to your point that you talked about in the first hour, these changes that we make, because to a lot of people, becoming a vegan is a drastic change.
Dominique, one of the things that I have learned being out in the field, because I do events throughout the Tampa Bay area, all these gyms that are popping up lately, have you seen, I mean, from the Crunch Fitnesses to the Anytime Fitnesses to the Orange Theory, if you go in them, they are usually occupied by these millennials. Mm-hmm. And I see a lifestyle change that didn't happen, when I was younger, but is happening now. These, Tough Mudder events, all these new health events,
right? All the CrossFitters.
So what I'm gonna say is a bit edgy and controversial. Do you know where the solution to resolve the obesity epidemic is? You know where that solution is found? In children. That's that's the target audience. People saying, wait a minute, how could that be the target audience? I'm talking about healthy young children. That's very controversial to say. If you want to turn the tide of the obesity epidemic, effort has to be made to teach young children, healthy young children, a healthy relationship with food. You say, well, what about the obese children? The success rate among them is very low too. That doesn't mean you give up on them, and it doesn't mean you give up on adults. But to turn the tide of this epidemic, it will take generations. And it begins with healthy young children. I'm not the only person who has said that. There are other experts out there who specialize in this, say the same thing. That's the target audience. That's how you change on a societal level, the way we eat, our food culture. That's why we're not having a lot of success with all these different programs, because the majority of people can't sustain them. They can't do it. LTN Coast to Coast.
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilomax, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
The ability to change, and just using weight loss as an example, very difficult. My guest today, Dominique Ostrander, just referenced an article that I reported on earlier last week about a plant-based diet and its cardiometabolic benefit. And it requires a change of relationship with food if you adopt a whole food plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy. And if you have heart disease, no oil. Welcome back to the show. Dominique, welcome back. Jarrow formulas, I now notice more products that are plant-based. So somebody there must be paying attention to this trend. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can you share a little bit about that and what our listener and viewer could learn and may want to consider adopting, assuming that, plants, vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts, seed, any whole food, plant-based food is not on the menu?
So the latest with Jarrow Formula's new plant proteins or plant-based proteins is our new certified organic pea protein. And the pea protein is ideal for somebody like me, for example, who's incredibly sensitive to other proteins, sensitive to milk, wheat, soy, and other proteins. So, for example, whey and things like that, especially if you're vegan, you're not going to want to do whey. But there are sources of protein that can be really irritating for some people in their GI tract. They can produce a lot of gas, bloating, things like that. So people tend to avoid certain proteins. So a pea protein is actually ideal for people that are very sensitive. It's high in protein. It's 11 grams of protein in one scoop, and the total fat is 1 gram. There's 0 grams of saturated fats or trans fats. And then it can be mixed with anything, which I really like. I think that that's part of compliance with proteins, or if you're using them as meal replacement. People have trouble getting away from lunch meats for lunch, for example, and so being able to replace it with a vegetarian or vegan plant protein is an ideal choice, because depending upon what you mix it with, you have a complete meal. In and of itself, the pea protein also has an amino acid profile that's very extensive, essential amino acids as well as non-essential amino acids. And in this particular brand new organic pea protein, there's no wheat, no gluten, no soybeans, no dairy, no egg, no fish, shellfish, no peanuts, no tree nuts. And no artificial sweeteners or flavors, and no added sugar.
So that is a truly plant-based protein product.
Exactly. Truly plant, as clean as you can get, really.
There's no cheating and no cheating ingredients in there, are there?
No, not at all.
We've been doing this show a dozen years, and over the weekend, we're working on our media kit and updating it. I went to different websites, different health talk shows, and this and that. I mean, they're all over the place. It seems like everybody and their mom has a health talk show. And I was listening to some, they have some of their shows online and looking at the topics and this and that. And the same theme across the board keeps coming up over and over again. It's what works? How can I lose the weight? Same kind of themes, just being recycled by different people with different talent and different point of view. And I'm just struck by the universal quest, literally across the globe, the universal quest to manage a diet, a day-to-day way of eating, and to do it in a healthy way. That seems to be the theme, that is the overarching theme. No matter where I went, that's what I saw popping up on these websites. And I looked at scores of them over the weekend to get an idea of what others are doing. I wanted to see. And that theme keeps coming up over and over, and not necessarily with weight loss, but just generally. How can I eat better? What should I eat? And so on. That dominates. You would think that you just gave, some evidence as to why plant-based diet is the way to go. But what's missing What I saw missing in all of that conversation most of the time was how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're offering, it's not just a product. It's a way to introduce plants into your diet without necessarily eating the plant directly. You're getting it in a protein form, a protein product. This is one small tactic. But you have other plant-based proteins now, I notice.
We do. We do. So we have the one that we launched 3 flavors of an organic plant protein in chocolate mocha, vanilla spice, and salted caramel. And we launched those it was a little while ago. And those have actually been really popular. They taste great. And again, I think that these are small changes, right? You and I have talked about this personally and on the air about little victories. Small changes add up to big changes. And so if you can replace one meal that you're having animal-based products with a plant protein, well, that's a small win. And if you continue to do that on a daily basis or every other day, again, these are all little changes that eventually add up. And so adding something like Jarrow Formula's organic plant proteins, the new pea protein, is a way to help introduce these changes.
Mm-hmm. It's
very easily.
It's a small tactic. It constitutes a small win. But that's all you're looking for sometimes. Small wins. I'll take one every day. I'll take it without question.
Are you suffering from those
Almost 52% of men experience erectile dysfunction and benign prostatic hyperplasia. If you've had challenges with virility, sexual health, or low energy, Body Vigor's Alpha Extension may be the answer for you. Body Vigor's Alpha Extension can help revitalize your alpha male and extend your love. Our formula is one of the highest quality nutraceuticals available, formulated to support the processes involved in promoting a healthy male sex drive, energy, and stamina. Alpha Extension has 2 powerful herbal blends, Virilomax, which focuses on male sexual health, and T-Pump Activator, which helps balance your testosterone levels. Revitalize your alpha male with Body Vigor's Alpha Extension, exclusively available on Amazon.com.
still have that picture of that old man next to the name of the show on this one website.
All I can do is laugh because they got a picture of you, and they have the picture of this guy.
Who is that guy?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness! Write him back. My guest is Dominique Ostrander. People are out there pirating the brand and using the name of the show, but putting a picture of somebody else who's not me. It's a mess. We'll figure it out. One thing that's very clear. By the way, Dominique, Gary can give you the information. We can stream you live now if you like. We can put you on live stream, hon. Would you like that?
Live video stream.
How about that?
Wow.
Can we do that for you? Would you like to do that?
You're so funny, Dr. Garko.
Why am I funny?
How I feel about this.
Why am I being funny? I mean, we can put you. Gary will tell you. I'm not making this up. The company that streams our show, we are now on the African. We have in the month of August, we've had over 1 million views at the website.
Yeah.
1 million.
That's impressive.
Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Africa. I'm just saying, we can put you up there right now. Gary will send you an email. He'll give you the link, and we'll put you up live. You'll be on a stream. Would you like to do that? Would you like to? People can tell I'm being ironic with you. I'm really messing around with you here, aren't I? Because I know you.
For
So
the one picture of me that's on the internet.
Yeah, and he won't let me put that one up. So
your wedding picture. I said no. We're not putting her wedding picture up on the internet. Why don't you like your picture up? I have to ask you. People want to know who you are. And I said, she's an educator. Yeah, but what does she look like? They ask us. And I don't know what to tell them. You tell them.
I don't know. I am on Twitter, though. So they can follow me. It's Jarrow Dom. I need Gary's help with learning how to use Twitter. I've only tweeted a few times. So is your image there at Twitter?
It's the marriage picture, Doc.
Can you please put a different image up there instead of your marriage?
I can't. What?
Well, listen, we'll have you come into the studio one time and we'll do headshots. And that way you can have a professional headshot done. And
people keep asking who you know. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what the audience is asking. People that watch the show. We now know we have millions of people that do that.
And I do know that they call the office. It's kind of funny because I was sitting in there Thursday and I was getting a call from. Couldn't read the name of the bar that you held up on Thursday.
It was from Genuine Health. They have a plant-based protein bar, and I held it up, and we had a huge response. I just held up the bar, said, "This is what I eat." Do you have plant-based protein bars yet?
We do not. We have no bars.
That's interesting. Your company's never gotten into that bar business.
No.
I find that interesting. Jarrow must have a reason for that. I have to talk to him about that. I wonder why he does that. That's interesting.
I don't think we've ever wanted to get into anything like that. For whatever reason, I think we're just wanting to stay with supplementation.
But you have terrific protein powdered products. These plant protein products are terrific. How many do you have now that are plant-based?
Oh my gosh! So we have our optimal plant protein, which was the original plant protein that we came out with. The organic plant proteins, the new pea protein. We have the pumpkin seed protein powder, which I love. That actually is one of my favorites. I'm not a fan of protein because of my own belly issues, but
pumpkin
our organic pumpkin seed protein, exactly. So it's gluten-free, it's hypoallergenic, it's vegan. There's 9 grams of protein in it, and it's ideal for people that are sensitive again. So the pumpkin and the new organic pea protein, ideal for people that have digestive issues or allergy issues.
What does it taste like, that pumpkin seed plant protein?
It's so mild. It's so mild. Wow. I really was I was a little apprehensive at first, to be completely honest. But it's actually very mild, and it is one of those things where if you like the flavor, which I do just plain, drinking it with almond milk, It's great. Or you can mix it in with whatever, and it becomes whatever you mix it with.
We can do a taste test on air.
Yeah, I mean, if you would come into studio sometime, we could,
Taste test everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I have a question. What's the shelf life on the pea protein?
How long will it contain? Expiration.
Yeah, that's a really good question. They're usually at least a year.
Okay.
You should be able to finish up.
Providing that you're not keeping it in the trunk of your car, kind of thing.
Right. Well, because I'm thinking
like an actual shelf life, like in your kitchen.
Yeah. The question is my Dr. Garko got to meet my nephew who's in Germany right now, and he has seen how much weight he has lost since he's gone over there. And
by the way, Jarrow Formula's products are a big hit with the troops overseas.
I didn't know. Yeah, did you know that?
No, I did not know that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, a lot of the guys do not like eating on base, and so they when they're overseas, they end up losing a lot of weight. And they're always looking for different supplementations. And one of the things with the Jarrows is that the containers. He likes the availability of how it comes in the containers.
So, with the troops overseas, Jarrow protein products are a big hit. Thought you'd like to know.
Well, that's wonderful. That's something I'm definitely going to have to pass on to my home office.
Yeah. I was talking with Gary. I said we need to connect with the troops and offer them, somehow get them connected to the show. We have MacDill Air Force Base right down the road here. What's it called? Command?
Central Command.
Central Command. It's literally, you can spit and hit it from here. It's not that far, just right down the road, a couple of miles. And I said to Gary, when I get the feeling a little stronger and better, I would like to give talks on that base, or somehow get connected to the service people, the military, because I think that they really are interested in health and nutrition. They're very interested in nutrition. I don't know why.
Well, they'll kick you out now if you're overweight. And there's a lot of guys that are, in their 40s now, they're getting ready looking for retirement in the military, and they've got to keep their weight down. And they have to be able to do PT and everything.
So plant-based protein products from Jarrow Formulas. Dominique says the pumpkin seed protein is great. They got the pea protein. We come back. I'll give you a chance to list all of them and without interruption.
Okay.
All right. We'll just list them.
All right.
And then we'll have the LTN health question of the day. Yeah. The overarching theme for today was how to make a change. How to change, especially your diet. So hard. And if you don't like plants, and if a plant-based diet is really the key or the combination to the safe of health, and you don't like plants, boy, you see the dilemma? We'll be back.
Are your joints feeling out of date and stiff? Is that old sports injury flaring up? Is your body aching from the daily wear and tear at work? Body Vigor's Joint Ready keeps you at the ready for any joint pain that gets out of line. Unfortunately, as we age, joint pain becomes more common. Body Vigor's Joint Ready can help provide relief so you can continue to go about your day. Our formula contains sulfated forms of glucosamine and chondroitin. Studies show that these sulfated forms are more effective than regular glucosamine bound to hydrochloride. Joint Ready promotes a healthy inflammatory response, facilitates cartilage synthesis, and provides additional antioxidants. Keep your joints at the ready with Body Vigor's Joint Ready, exclusively on Amazon.com.
Here's the LTN health question of the day. Earlier in the show, I was reporting on a study that claimed that the headline would suggest they found the secret to weight loss. Good study. I mean, what they discovered was useful. And the secret, supposedly, is that if people are involved in a weight loss program, if they lose weight if they can lose the weight in a certain amount of time early on in the weight loss program, that will be predictive of long-term weight loss. And you're led to believe that it's the time frame that is it's more than time frame involved here. But nevertheless, what was is this statement true or false? That participants in the study who experienced consistent weight loss in the first 6 and 12 weeks of the program were more likely to maintain their weight loss at 12 and 24 months. Is that statement true or false? In other words, put it in simple terms, if people were able to lose weight, consistent weight loss in the first 6 to 12 weeks, that was predictive of long-term weight loss at 12 to 24 months. Is that statement true or false? Call the number with the right answer, and you'll win a $25 supplement gift card.
877-897-8255. That's 877-897-8255.
Welcome back, Dominique. So, plant-based, do you think as time goes on, the Jarrow formulas, do you think that supplement companies are going to move more and more towards plant-based products?
That's a really good question. I would say so, yes. I would say that nutrient-dense, anything that would help improve nutritional status, whether it was to maintain blood sugar or help maintain blood sugar, glycemic control, blood pressure, antioxidant status, I think all of those things are what's in the minds of formulators. Mm-hmm. So yes, it includes a plant-based diet and increasing plant-based products. But again, it's all-encompassing. It's improving nutritional status overall.
Mm-hmm. Well, are you going to Baltimore East?
I am.
Expo East in Baltimore. Oh, good. I'll see you there. What's interesting, and for the listener and the viewer, so you don't get confused, there is some terminology that is used to identify, quote-unquote, eating plants. Vegan, vegetarian, and now notice my language, whole food, plant-based diet. No meat, no dairy. That designation, that description, identifies a paradigm that people involved in that paradigm would say that is related to vegan and vegetarian, but yet different. And the difference is that there are notice whole food. In other words, no processed foods, where the nutrient value has been diminished or compromised. That represents a very different plant-oriented paradigm. Do you follow me on that, Dominique?
I do.
You've been a vegan almost your whole life, haven't you?
A vegetarian, not vegan.
Oh, you're a vegetarian. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I don't eat wheat, so I'm a wheat-free vegetarian. And I was just having this conversation with my daughter just the other day. It was yesterday, I think, where she said, "Mom, what would you eat if you became a wheat-free vegan?" It's like, not a lot.
Well, there are other grains. There are other grains besides wheat, rice, barley, quinoa. I mean, go on. I mean, and that's what a whole food, in the world of whole food plant-based diet, no meat, no dairy, those kinds of options are featured because they know there's certain people can't eat wheat, gluten-free or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they have those recipes, and they present that option. When you start to get into that realm, it's a whole different feel than in vegan, vegetarian. It's a different. It just feels different, and it is different. Here's the health question: true or false? People who experience consistent weight loss in the first 6 to 12 weeks of a weight loss program are able to maintain weight loss at 12 to 24 months. Is that true or is that false? 877-897-8255. Speed dial the show and just say true or false. Guess. And if you have the right answer, you'll win a $25 supplement gift card. How much protein should a person consume a day on average of these, like from Jarrow formulas? They're plant-based proteins. Do you think?
That depends on your body weight, honestly. It depends on your
status.
Depends on your right, exactly. Your health status. People that are convalescing obviously need.
What do you think the minimum? What do you think the minimum would be? 15?
Probably about 30 to 40 grams.
30 to 40. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Do you believe that
I think 30 grams of protein?
Is it one? Do you subscribe to the formula 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or do you think it's a little less than that?
Per 1 gram of so if I would need, like, as a 130-pound woman, I would need 130 grams of protein a day.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's entirely too much protein.
A half a gram per pound of body weight. Some experts put it about 8.8, not quite a full gram. Half a gram to 0.8 of a gram.
Yeah, we were in school. We were taught it's half your body weight.
Half your body weight. Okay.
Half your body weight.
So it's half a gram per pound of body weight. Jarrow formulas, new plant-based protein. Some of them are new. Some of them have been around a while. And the list, real quick. Go ahead. List them.
Optimal plant protein and our organic plant proteins in 3 different flavors. The new organic pea protein and our pumpkin seed protein.
All for you because, trying to give you an opportunity to get into that plant-based world. This is one way to do it. It's a small win, but every win counts. Jarrow formulas, go to jarrow.com. Jarrow formulas sold in fine health stores across the U.S. because your health is your wealth, and your health is the wealth of those that care about and love you.
If you've ever had digestive issues,